Hello trainers and welcome to Unite Rewind, where I recap the most recent action in Pokemon Unite EU Esports. This week sees LFPU Week 2 kick off and La Weekly continue its weekly tournament. Kicking things off in the world of LFPU, we have a huge clash as Ultimate and Komai Esports go against each other for Game 1. Both teams have a good balance of early to late game Pokemon, and Komai manages to come out quicker, scoring more points and edging further ahead on levels after getting the Regidrago. A tasty Emerald 2-step from Gatlu changes things though as Ultimate break the top lane and get both the Regice and Regieleki. Ultimate extend their lead in the mid to late game and outlevel Komai comfortably. And Ultimate play the Groudon very patiently and force Komai's hand to launch Unite moves. Komai can't find a way back into the game and Ultimate take Game 1. Game 2 sees Nachos let loose on their renowned Zeraora and as expected, they dominate the early game, being the first in the lobby to have their Unite move. Komai bounced back with a vengeance in the mid game though, getting the Registeel off the back of a brilliant teamfight, making it a nearly even game. Ultimate managed to push Aleki in 30 seconds before Groudon however, and come into the final fight with a 100-point lead. Komai go for a flip and it works as they secure the objective and manage to score some points, but a brilliant response by Bingo allows Ultimate to have the lead by 9 points in the final 30 seconds. Komai sneaks in points at the T2 and they take Game 2. We are going to a Game 3. One game apiece now and both teams come out very aggressively. Both teams have 100 points scored and multiple Unite moves as the first objectives are taken. The battle between Oni's Demon Leafeon and Nacho's devastating Zeraora is an interesting one in this game, both players getting the better of each other multiple times. Kha'Zix vs Katar is another delight as the two defenders provide so much disruption and cover for their teams. But Ultimate push for a 2-minute Lecky and just get it, bringing the score to 5 points difference. The final battle is close between both teams, but Oni goes for an unsuccessful backcap and this allows Ultimate to get the Groudon. Komai opt to defend the T2 as they backcap, but in the final 20 seconds, Ultimate squeezed them some scores in and managed to take the set with a 2-1 record. Next up, we have another of my top teams to watch. BH3 Esports taking on DataFlux. Stronger early game from BH3 here, with Rezu on Darkrai proving very difficult for DataFlux to handle. It takes DataFlux over half the game to get their first point scored as BH3 controlled the entirety of Feyasky Ruins. Coming into Groudon, BH3 have a point lead by over 350 points. DataFlux look for the backcaps and BH3 use this as an opportunity to go into the teamfight with a number advantage, eventually taking Groudon and taking Game 1. Game 2 sees Kranix let loose on the Zoroark, and we finally see the buffed Latias under Yutao's control. BH3 continue where they left off by winning the early game and outscoring their opponents by 10 times. DataFlux try to alleviate the pressure by attacking the opposite lane in this one, but Kranix punishes them with quick rotations and objective steals every time they try. Groudon spawns and DataFlux are pushing the T1 of BH3 off the back of a Regibuff, but this opens the door for BH3 to find some quick KOs and force DataFlux to regroup. BH3 hold DataFlux on their central area as they have a 200-point lead, and without enough time for DataFlux to rip, BH3 hold strong and take the set with a 2-0 victory. Set 3 sees BRZ Korpo take on Bigorneaux. We see a brilliant back and forth in the early game for Game 1 between these two teams, with both finding power spikes for their strong players. BRZ edge ahead in points as we get closer to the mid game, but struggle in the teamfights against Bigorneaux until the 5-minute mark, where BRZ have a strong push onto the T1 pad and come out of it 200 points in the lead with a level lead as well. BRZ takes the following sets of objectives and comes into the final fight with an extended point and level lead. They get a huge pick on Hiyori Zeraora just before the fight and go for the INGAGE, having the numbers advantage. They don't find any picks quickly though, and Hiyori is back in time for a true team fight. BRZ still come out of this unscathed though, and they hold down Bigorneaux to take Game 1. Game 2 sees Bigorneaux go for the double speedster route, trying to snowball from the early game. This tactic doesn't quite work though, as Regidrago spawns in with BRZ having more levels and more points on the board. Bigorneaux managed to balance things out by the mid-game, however, and actually have a decent lead as we come into the Groudon fight. Klaus gets caught just before the final fight, and Bigorneaux have the advantage. They play very patiently though, knowing they are comfortably in the lead. With less than 50 seconds left, BRZ go for a rip, but it's well defended by Bigorneaux, and just like that, we're going to another game 3. The final game of the night sees BRZ's double all-rounder take on the double-ranged attackers in Bigorneaux. Power spikes are hit by BRZ first and they capitalize on it, taking the score lead. Some good KOs by Bigorneaux gets them right back into the game though, and we truly see how effective flame-charged DataFlux is, as BRZ can't get into range and Bigorneaux use the fanciful fireworks aggressively to take the lead in the mid-game. As we hit the late game, Bigorneaux has their comp online with a level 13 DataFlux and a Regirock buff for the Groudon fight. BRZ go for the flip whilst trying to zone out Bigorneaux, but the coup de grace just misses and they lose the secure. Bigorneaux takes the set with a 2-1 record. Off stream, Rework Esports Core beat Lestache and MTZ Esports beat Rework Esports Gear. BH3 Ultimate, Rework Esports Core and Le Bigorneaux remain undefeated. Elsewhere in EU, UFC was on break week, but La Weekly's continued on. Often seen as the off-season battleground as UCS teams own their rosters, this week saw some brilliant games. As you can see on the screen, Goodnight Gaming takes the whole event with a 2-0 victory in the grand finals, but they had to get there by going on a crazy lower bracket run thanks to Mia Familia, beating them 2-1 in round 1. G&G would get their revenge though after dispatching MTZ Esports, Los Caracados, and EXP Share. They come up against Mia Familia once again. They managed to triumph this time though and continue on to defeat No Follow in the losers finals to come up against Thank You next in the grand final. Goodnight Gaming continue to show they are the dominant team in EU right now, managing to defeat all other strong contenders in La Weekly's. That's all for this week. UFC is back, so make sure to catch those games on the INGAGE GG stream. And make sure to hit that sub button and follow me as I continue to cover the action in EU Pokemon Unite and show you my casting journey. Have a great morning, afternoon, evening, wherever you are, trainers. See you on the next one.